Peace. Good evening. I'd like to welcome you back to another edition of the Foul Playland. As always, I'm your Foul Player. Wanted to make a video regarding some thoughts that I've had of late. A lot of people like really haven't locked down like a lot of I don't know, like nobody surprised me like as far as like their picks most of the times like yo, peace watcher. And peace Michael Johnson, boxing talking more. And please, if you guys could like subscribe to both of these brothers, and I threw the link too if you guys want to are interested in jumping in. But anyhow, like me being candid, I mean everybody knows Wilder is my guy. I've rocked with him from jump. Better part of a decade. Where I really liked him, like kind of see him coming up in the world. And then the world sees a little bit of what you see, and the guy moves up as far as like the money he's making, the acclaim he got. 100%. Like I was gun ho happy for Wilder. Like in addition to the fact that I really liked him as a fighter. Do I want Wilder to win when he fights Fury in a couple of weeks for a third time? Absolutely. But since that fight's been announced, I mean, like I'm kind of like stuck to like thinking that Fury was gonna beat Wilder, but not by much. Like I thought Wilder had a really good chance. He still has a really good chance. But everything leading up to the fight, I mean, like the decisions as far as like who runs the camps. The fact that I think like nothing's really showed me like that kind of like that little rage sessions that Wilder would go into before his past fights, like where it just seemed like very alpha dog. Like, I don't know. I didn't get like a lot of that, like from the time that the fight was announced, actually from the time that Wilder was defeated, till now. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe that stuff will change from here to the day of the fight. But I mean, I just haven't seen that leading up to the fight. But at this point, I mean, like, and for the past like month, maybe I've had that fight going 70-30 Tyson Fury. Again, not much has deviated or like not a lot of what I was concerned about seeing like from Wilder, like leading up to the fight. It didn't help, sway me in the direction that like I mean, like I would rather go. I mean, I'd rather, go into this fight gun ho thinking, like the guy that I'm a fan of the most, Wilder. Like the signs that I'm seeing, like fucking leading up to the fight. Like I'd rather it be like that. I see a bunch of stuff like leading up to the fight that's dope. That's giving me the inclination that Wilder's gonna win. It's just that I haven't seen that. I mean, like but from Jump Street, like I mentioned Wilder's choice of coach. And me not being like, like really like endorsing that option, like personally. Nothing against Scott, like he's fought a lot of people that became great. I mean, I would never discount a fighter becoming a coach. I mean, it's the best perspective. It's just like concerned me from the beginning, like to have somebody who's more a novice as far as his tenure, like coaching, to become his coach for this fight. Some people like discussed like the fact that he looked good, like doing the pads and all that stuff, like in videos. See, even that stuff like was a little bit concerning because it wasn't anything that I saw like within like him doing that like pad work or anything like that. I was saying, oh, he looks off. It was more of like with today's day and age, a lot of these fighters, while they're leading up, like they're in camp for sure. Like they're putting a lot of content like that, like where he's doing the work on the pads and whatnot. Like more often. You know what I'm saying? Like if you think about it, like since the fight's been announced, like how many times like have they put out like things that of Wilder like training? You know what I'm saying? And I have concern like about the rumors that some hear regarding like like camp with Wilder. You know what I'm saying? Like that stuff. If I it's kind of like brought me to that 70-30, like as far as like my odds go. I'm hoping that it doesn't play out this way. I'm hoping that like the night of the fight, like I'm seeing my guy like Wilder bouncing all over the ring, setting up his power. I mean, putting a hurting on Fury, whether the Fury cheating, or something going awry with the water was true or not. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, Fury beat Wilder. Like, I mean, like my ideal night would be Wilder putting a hurting on Fury the night of, So I'm not gonna pick with my heart though either. Particularly, I mean, and you may like be able to sway me over, like with a lot of the things that lead up to these fights. Like, if there's a fighter that I'm like not sure about, like, and then I'm seeing a lot of stuff leading up to these matches, like in the in the weigh-ins that give me that like flutter in my heart, like like this dude's for real, like, or like this, like you could tell he's a beast in camp, like whatever. Like I'm not getting an inkling on anything that's like making me gun ho, like with what I'm seeing, like from Wilder since this fight's been announced and made official. On the other hand, like with Fury, they like these times that Wilder has fought Fury, all three times, like I mean, like you didn't like get a lot of difference of Fury's like cockiness and like how he carried about in any of these fights. Fury gave very little information, like in a lot of these shows as to what he was gonna do, like or any of his press leading up to the fight. Most people, like when Fury said he was gonna do something, or when Fury said he was gonna knock out Wilder, most people dismissed him. But he did it. Like I mean, like nobody thought he was gonna like step on the gas and like go like toe to toe with Wilder. Especially after the second fight, he does it from jump. He does it essentially the whole fight. So that's not a good look. You know what I'm saying? Like, and in every one of these camps, you have two camps, like where Fury's dad said he's concerned about his son fighting with Wilder. You have very cagey information coming out of Fury himself. But I don't know, like nothing that has like detracted me from thinking like that maybe Fury's not gonna win the fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me read some of my comments, man. Like, salute to everybody that's come on. Um, like I said, like I put the StreamYard link for everybody who wants to come through. But Watcher said Neo's back. Yeah, man. The man in glasses at night. Wilder will get the victory, I believe, 100%. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping. I mean, like your words to God's ears, man. I want Wilder to win. What you mean, nobody? I don't know. Let me know what you meant. Not sure if those bruises on Fury's face today were real or not from sparring. Yeah, that I saw that too. I mean, I could in thinking about that too. Like I didn't even see that as a negative. If it was like legitimate ass whoopings that Fury was taking in these sparring sessions, like to me, like if that was a legitimate ass whooping that he was taking in these sparring sessions, like it's kind of like showing me like that he's like in there like eating shit like in camp like fucking leading up to the fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't know. And again, like I'm hoping that Scott is keeping my boy on the straight and narrow. I'm hoping. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be coy or cute about it. I want Wilder to win 100%. Oh, I thought there was another comment. Yeah, man, but and one thing that I found really concerning with all this stuff, like my thing that shook my conviction the most as far as like thinking that Fury is gonna win was that press conference. Like the fact that Wilder had the headphones on, like, and wasn't going back and forth with Fury. And like some people will say like, oh, that Wilder doesn't have a personality. Wilder has a great personality, like for this book. I mean, his diction, like he can't carry on with Fury, but Wilder be saying wild shit. And he got the rep of knocking motherfuckers out. Like Wilder is a great personality for the boxing. I mean, Wilder is the biggest American draw, or the potentially biggest American draw, and it's been this way for a while. I'm sorry, I'm trying to add my man Mike to the screen. Yo,
what up, man? Give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
All right, thanks for coming through too. Yeah, but we'll see. I mean, the fact that what I was mentioning earlier, like in that press conference, like normally you see Wilder like with this great big personality talking in all these press conferences, all up in somebody's face, like in this one, the fact that he chose to go in like the whole headphones and having Malik Scott like answer for everything, like was you don't really often see that. Like honestly, you never see that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't see like a lot of people like in these press conferences or these fighters not taking the opportunity to show their ass. You know what I'm saying? And Wilder, like, I mean, has been really good at doing that in the past. And the fact that he didn't do it this time around, I mean, again, I'm hoping for the best. But if I were a betting man, which I don't bet, I'd put my money on Wilder. Hey, and peace to L Dub. Thank you for coming through, man. Please, if you haven't subscribed to my man Law, you're missing out. L-Dub Boxing, thank you for coming through. And if you want to utilize that link, you're more than welcome, my friend. Yeah, but these are scary times, man. Like, I mean, and it also, like, as far as, like, just a couple years ago, like, there was the AJ biggest fan faction in boxing, and Wilder was probably right behind them as far as, like, factions. These two factions were facing each other, like, all up in YouTube and in chat rooms and message boards. In like no time, both of the guys like take losses. Both of those factions, like Wilder faction, like AJ faction, online, they don't have that oomph about them anymore. They don't have that boastful pride. So I mean, like, and it's all kind of sad too. Like the fact, I mean, like if Fury ultimately gets the chance at unifying after this, like, and he wins, like, kudos to him. If I mean, it'd be cooler if Wilder like was the one to fight for unification next. See how this goes, but the a lot of YouTube boxing, like back then, like when I first started coming on, like, I mean, not first coming on, but just a couple like years ago, like half a decade ago, was all about the Wilder Fury conversation. Now, like, in my eyes, like, Wilder loses this fight, it's pretty much the end of an era. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that could happen just around the corner. I mean, like, so I'm hoping that Wilder wins this fight, but I just wouldn't put my money on it if I were a betting man again. But Michael Johnson, you back in the room?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I mean,
thank you for coming through too, man. Let the people before you get to it, let the people know where we.
I don't care about that. So
let the people know where we can find you. But
I really don't care. Like, that's the reason why I always answer it like that. Like, if people want to find me, they know how to find me. I'm not trying to have like a attitude about it, but that's really how I feel.
Nah, I agree with you. But if you guys want to look for him, please make sure to subscribe to Michael Johnson Boxing Talk and More. One of my brothers, in addition to being a fantastic channel.
Yeah,
but let the people know what you think.
Yeah, what you were saying. Well, I don't know where to begin because you were saying a lot, and I was in the car on the highway driving. But yeah, if Wilder loses this fight, it's not it for him. I mean, the way I put it is, AJ will still have to me, in my opinion, even for AJ to solidify himself, he's still going to have to fight this guy, because the heavyweight division as a whole has been one of those divisions that everybody hasn't been fighting each other. A lot of people want to hold out and not fight people because of money, promotional brands. They don't want to fight in Bulgaria. They don't want to fight in this country and stuff like that. So, that's the way I see it with that. And, I don't think there's rumors on both sides about what's going on in both sides camp right now, but they're just rumors. It's like, we're not there. We can trust this person or not trust this person, whether or not how some people are feeling. If they want to, downgrade Wilder or they want to downgrade Fury, it's all up to you because they're just rumors. And I'm not the one to spread rumors or be a chitty chatty pity patty. But that's what some people like to give out as rumors. Not me, but there's nothing to get from both of these camps as well, as far as what they have been doing in camp and stuff like that. There's absolutely nothing. And really, to tell you the truth, if you watch what they were doing in camp and stuff like that, Fury has looked the worst. So, but I wouldn't judge any of that because we already seen their performances in the ring, and both of these guys have never willingly showed up to a ring half-assed. I said knowingly. showed up to a ring half-assed. Also, I don't know if you guys noticed, but Bill Cosby just got out of prison, right? And Bill Cosby did the same thing that Deontay Wilder did. Bill Cosby didn't answer none of their questions or anything like that. Guess what Bill Cosby did? He had everybody else speak for him. And part of that is because, in my opinion, I think, is because the way people were treated by the media. You know, if you go back and look at the media, even before Wilder took his loss to Tyson Fury, even before that, the media was already giving him the F word. You know, don't know if you because you know not commenting some of the cuss words, so I figured I'd give you that much. They were already doing that, and then you know these so-called whatever you guys want to call them, you want to call them excuses or whatever the case may be. Then when he said that, that was icing on the cake. That right there was the defining moment because nobody cared what really came out of his mouth. They just wanted to degrade this man, and like I said, that was the icing on the cake because now they had something that they know that they could prove to use against Deontay Wilder, like they already have been doing. They did it with Wilder and Dillian White. They did it with Wilder and fighting Spilka, Chris Arreola, and all those guys. They did it with Wilder versus Jarrell Washington. They did it Wilder against Malik Scott, and the list goes on and on. It never gave the man a break, and and if you actually listen to fighters that have sparred Deontay Wilder, nobody says the man can't box. Nobody can say that the man doesn't know boxing. They just said they don't even know why he don't utilize it. You know what I'm saying? And lastly but not least is there was something else I wanted to hit on too. Malik Scott being the trainer. Even the Galaxy Warrior, Nate Campbell even said that Malik Scott is a great trainer. And this is after the fact. This is in the same video on Malik Scott was pissed the fuck off that Wilder said what he said about Mark Breland. And that's quite telling because a lot of people out here, they gave the F to Mark Breland before Wilder said what he said about him. And then when Wilder does what he does, like I said again, people who are not even affected by this treat it as if they were called out that Wilder said that about them. But they don't care. Nobody cares. As long as it makes the man look bad. Because at the end of the day, July 24th, everybody's going to get their answers, win or lose. But what I say to people is that watch how you treat other people. Because if you're going to be treating Deontay Wilder and all these other fighters and these fans of Deontay Wilder like you have been treated, what happens if Deontay Wilder wins? What if you're on the other spectrum and you treat Tyson Fury fans and stuff like that and doing all this other stuff and Tyson Fury wins? People need to be real mindful of how they treat one another because at the end of the day, we are all just fucking fans and some of us just happen to have YouTube pages. You know what I'm saying? Just because you have 50,000, 100,000, a million subs, or whatever the case may be, you're getting super chats and all that stuff, it don't make you better than the next person. You just another motherfucker. You just another person on YouTube talking just like the rest of us, and it don't make you no better. Your sub counts, your view counts don't make you no better, and that's another thing that people do. Like I said, in this whole thing, is what people have been saying about Wilder over the years. That's what they do. You know what I'm saying? People need to start using correct verbiage and stuff like that when they're speaking and treating people like human beings because ain't nobody better than the next person on YouTube. There's a lot of people out there saying misinformation and shit like that. And, you just never know what it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, like,
My bad.
it's nah, don't worry, bro. It's a tough sell, man. Like as far as like whether that's gonna stop on YouTube or boxing, like talk, like online, like in general. Hell's no. I think it's like it's just gonna fractionalize people worse. Win or lose, like the game don't stop. There's no mercy in YouTube boxing and in fucking internet boxing, if you will, like fandom. It's just like very vicious out in those streets. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I hate the phrase YouTube streets, or what you're hearing on YouTube streets, or I hate that phrase, but the YouTube streets literally are vicious, man. Like, so I don't think like people are gonna be more mindful of others. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as not being dicks to each other anymore. But like the watcher said, the mysterious disappearing video. Which one are you referring to? Yeah, and again, man, thank you for everybody who's come through this evening. Again,
Yeah,
I've left. I left the. Now go ahead.
He's talking about the when Wilder supposedly got knocked out by a boxer, but he didn't get knocked out. And if Wilder was knocked out by that guy, then how come they didn't say Tyson Fury was knocked out? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Was it Saros or whatever his name, Harold? It is what it is, man. It's boxing, fucking, like you said, boxing YouTube streets. It's like nobody has the same energy for nothing, you know. And sometimes I do it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I forget some of the stuff I said and stuff like that, and not use the correct things that with other fighters. That's the reason why I made that one video. Keep the same energy, and I said that Crawford has the right to ask for what the fuck he wants to, because if I'm going to say that with Deontay Wilder, I got to say that with everybody else.
Hold on, Mike. Watcher said no, not that one. The one in your most recent video, Mike.
He said the most disappearing video. Oh,
he said. Maybe is that it? He said not that one
because they took it down, but it still is like they talked about Deontay Wilder did this and did that, but there's no evidence. And like I said, if you use that same energy and you're telling people that like me that's in the LDBC that believe or this or that and the third, we're making conspiracy theories. Well, you guys are too, because now you're insinuating that Wilder or the PBC hit up Chris Colbert and told him to take the shit down. But where's your proof? You don't have, they just made a video about here's proof with Deontay Wilder and that he has no proof with Tyson Fury or cheating or whatever. But you got to use the same fucking thing. But like, that's what I said. It's like, that's why I'm saying it's like Crawford and Spence, they bring money to a fight. You know what I'm saying? And the amount of money that they both bring to a fight is more money than they ever made before. But now, since Earl caught that Pacquiao fight, it does look like he's just gonna have to take whatever, because as a boxing fan standpoint, we shouldn't care about who's getting what. You know what I'm saying? We just want to see the fucking fight. Can you dig?
Yeah, no, I mean, like, whatever it takes to get done, I mean, get it done. But like, I just like a lot of what I hear online is more like putting more of an onus on Bud, like, to accept what has been thrown at him, like, thus far. I mean, 60-40 is a good percentage, but I mean, if he's like showing opposition to doing it, I mean, in the spirit of making these fights happen, I mean, throw that 50-50 up. Let's get it happening. You guys are gonna sell big time numbers. Like, you could run it back 2-3 times. But a lot of what I do see online from a lot of the channels that I loved is a lot of telling Bud, like, and he's stupid for not like accepting like what is given to him. You know, I don't see a lot more like in the opposite direction. I mean, a lot of the people that do come in the opposite direction, a lot of times, like maybe historically, they've had a little bit of a tinge of race stuff like in their channel, with these boxing channels. So you know who they would likely endorse in most of these discussions, but there's not like a real Bud faction like that. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of that faction maybe don't like PBC that much, or people like a small little faction here that actually likes Bud and thinks he's like that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a fractured fan base. But you know,
yeah. But like I said, it's like with them two, I'm pretty much done with all that. It's like I'm just gonna be calling them both out. Like not to make it neither one of them side with you because you believe this and then the third. So if Spence, which I'm predicting him to win, but when he beats or if whatever beats Pacquiao, it's like, you know, I'm just gonna be like, you know, y'all both get in the ring and just make the fight. Like I'm not picking one or the other because that's how bad I want to see the fight. That's the fight that I'm willing to pay $75, $85 for. You know what I'm saying? I'm not caring about all that. If y'all two want to get paid, if y'all two want to say you're the baddest man on the planet and all this stuff, why not? It's welterweight, whatever it's top pound for pound or whatever the case may be, y'all just gonna have to fight.
Yeah, and TS Boxing left a comment and he said, and thank you for coming through, Tyrone. Like, and please subscribe to TS Boxing, Tyrone Smith. Exactly, Mike. Glovegate is a conspiracy, but Wilder took the Colbert vid down without any evidence. What do you have to say about that, Mike?
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. It's like that's what some people are saying. Like they're literally making videos saying this, and they in disregard that Fight Hype came out and actually commented on one of the Chris Colbert videos in their own comment section, stating that Chris Colbert is the one that texted and requested to have their video taken down, and somebody told me that was hearsay. Like, that's not hearsay. That's not how it works. But that's what people are going to throw around. You remember right when this whole arbitration and everything came down. Well, first it was mediation. Now you had people out there talking about force majeure. What they forgot to because they're not from the United States. What they forgot to mention was force majeure is different in each state. But even talking about force majeure and Deontay Wilder with Tyson Fury and getting them in the ring, no matter what state you in, it's all gonna boil down to making, because you know COVID is it can be deemed as like an act of God because it's a pandemic and all that shit, right? So they were all coming out with different ways of saying that Deontay Wilder does not deserve his trilogy fight because legally Tyson Fury doesn't have to do this, but it's like it's always Deontay Wilder. You cannot say when you come on YouTube that is not a Deontay Wilder discussion. Like even if somebody's live, they're going to take time out of their lives to talk about Deontay Wilder. There is no Deontay Wilder is not a strong talking point. There is none of that on social media because everybody is talking about him. Like Deontay Wilder literally wear headphones right during the press conference because maybe he's pissed off at the media. Maybe he just didn't want to play and give Tyson Fury his energy because that's what Tyson Fury feeds off of, is people talking and trash talking back and forth and stuff like that. Maybe he didn't want to feed it to him, right?
Possibly. I mean, but it's just strange. It's just strange, like because you don't see it.
It is.
No, you don't see it in a lot of press conferences like that. Well, you know what I'm saying, like,
we probably haven't, but it is what it is. And look at Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury was the only one bothered.
And we never see it in press conferences.
Well, Tyson Fury was the only one affected by him doing that. When I'm talking about affected, I'm talking about the people on the stage between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. That affected him more than talking. He didn't have to say nothing to get to that guy. And even with the media, that made it even bigger because the media, woo, if you saw what they were saying as far as the zone and all these other outlets and stuff like that, if you seen what they was saying after that, I think he did a good thing because it didn't stop nobody from talking about him. It made people talk about him even more.
I mean, the magnitude of the fight is what it is. I mean, it's just a humongous fight. I mean, like, you know, for anybody who's like run with the bullshit like in the past that Wilder's not a big draw. I mean, like, you likely are making a YouTube channel, like making Wilder this videos, and it's pretty much fed you for a half a decade. You know what I'm saying? Wilder's a tremendous draw. But let me read some of these comments. Now let me counterpunch. Oh, right on cue. That's right. That's one of the examples that I mentioned as far as channels that have eaten off the Wilder train for nearly half a decade. Our friend, one of the trolls from where the Wild Things are, counterpunch. And Tyrone Smith said, "At Watcher, I'll counter your counterpunch with his fucking lack jaw. Fuck that dude. TS Boxing, he really is overweight. Not kidding, it's bad now. I don't know. Like I don't check like something like that no more. I haven't watched that channel for probably like 2 years.
Did you hear him though? Did you hear what Tyson Fury said? It was like, look, you got a busted lip there. He's like, nah, that's a cold sore. I was like, that dude got herpes.
Yeah.
I ain't boxing nobody in the ring with a bump on their lip. Come on, ref. Come on, y'all, man. He gotta get that cleared up first, man.
Yeah, that's concerning too. But yeah, I mean, like, and yo, not for nothing, bro. And I got all the love in the world for Wilder too. That's another thing that I wanted to mention. I know a lot of channels, especially like a lot of channels that have been pissing me off of late, personally. They're gonna be hurting, completely ass hurt, butt hurt if Wilder happens to take an L. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like the thing is that a lot of these people that have been trifling me, like, are like just instigators, like, so I could see them just jumping on to the next one. You know, whether that be Chris Colbert, like, as their new enemy, or just, you know, pumping it up more on like their hatred for Bud. You know, it's just like, you know, putting a hateful spin on any of these things. It's what's fucking up like YouTube boxing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and a lot of you know, if I've been engaging of bullshit of late, it's not, you know, fucking like I'm not an ass or nothing like that. Like, but you know, things people get out of pocket with this YouTube stuff. But yeah, so you thought nothing of the headphone thing, Mike?
No, I don't think anything negative about it. I don't have anything like either negative or constructive criticism or anything about it because. Hold
on, I gotta ask you something though. And you can't say like it had no effect. You either had to say you felt good about it or not good about it. Those are the only two choices. Like, I didn't
feel nothing about it. Like, it didn't.
Nah. If you had to pick, like, you know, would you have rather like Wilder go into that like press conference all up in Fury's face and like saying like, you know, Fury cheated me in this last fight, and you know, you know, Wilder has a lot to talk about right now in a press conference. Like, I think that would sell that fight and make his case be known in one swoop. I mean, but the fact that he's like saying nothing, that's what concerns me. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause, and again, like, it never really happens in fights where fighters just go silent unless there's like a language barrier or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it helps sell a fight. At the end of the day, like the press conference at the end of the day, like was whack.
Well, it was whack, but it was still interesting to me. But see, that's what I'm saying is I did a video before the press conference. You see what I'm saying? I did a video before the press conference saying that Wilder would have to confront his accusation. You know what I'm saying? Now, they still didn't ask him for none of this shit, even though he was right there, you know, it still could have. But at the end of the day, of course, everybody wanted Wilder to get up in there and talk some shit and answer some stuff. But that's not what he did. You know, I wasn't pissed off. I wasn't.
No, not to say like pissed off or like. I'm just saying like whether you felt like positive or negative.
That's what I already answered that. Like
I know. But it's a non-answer though.
No, I didn't feel nothing about it. You said positive or negative about it. It's like it really didn't do anything. Only thing it did was it showed you that you can make Tyson Fury you can get him off his element by just not responding. You have to engage him for him. That's what he feeds off of, talking shit.
Let me get to these comments. So Tyrone Smith said, "Wow, Counterpunch needs to go on a serious diet." Then I'm not even going to speak on that because I would probably need to join right behind them. Fucking Watcher says, "I felt good about it when he put his glasses back on. That gave me even more confidence." I don't know. Whew. That I felt the opposite. To be frank, while Watcher, but much love. I think it's time. Just admit I'm a Charlo hater and say you're a Wilder hater. No way, bro. I love Wilder, bro. Like, I'm not gonna front. You know, a lot of like the channels that have been pissing me off of late are like very pro Wilder, but that's not like motivating the party, bro. I just don't feel good about like Wilder's prospects of everything that I've seen leading up to this fight. You know, but I've been very candid over the years, like saying that Wilder is my number one fighter. I love Wilder more than any other fighter fighting presently. But in spite of that, everything I've said or everything I've seen leading up to the fight, you know, it's just a little concerning for me. But
I got something for you. I got something for you with that.
Let me finish reading the comments and then go ahead and cook. Watcher said that's cool, man, and Watcher said laughing out loud. Well, go ahead, man.
Yeah, but you know, the way I think about things is totally different the way that you see things. I try to put it in a perspective of just taking the information from both sides and seeing which one overweighs the other. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I don't have a feeling about certain things because you just can't predict it. You know, me and you came up butted heads on the whole PBC thing with Wilder thing. And the reason why I said what I said to you with that is because I'm giving you this to give you why you shouldn't be unsettled about it, right? Because you were saying something along the lines of like how the PBC failed Deontay Wilder, right? Because it shouldn't have gotten to this. There was nothing that Deontay Wilder could have done, right, contractually or anything for that fight not for that trilogy to take the course that it is. That's the reason why I said to you that's the reason why Wilder is taking steps to get the fight. Wilder doesn't go around talking a lot between fights, as we all know. And he handled his all. And like I was trying to tell you, if the man really wanted to fight the guy, you would have to take that guy to court. You would have to let it run its course to the court system with arbitration and stuff like that. And look at where we are right now. Now we have the trilogy. Now we're going into the trilogy. And I'm trying to tell you, if you look at both sides of the spectrum, right? Tyson Fury has nothing to show. He's not showing nothing better. than what Deontay Wilder is doing in camp. Now, both teams are not going to show you everything that they're doing in camp, right? They're not going to show you all the bells and whistles for the other team to learn something from. See what I'm saying? And so he's giving you, leading up to the fight, he's been giving us a couple of little jewels here and there. I think they're cool, but I don't think they're stuff that he was showing us is necessarily going to help him out with the win. You see what I'm saying? I just think that was just all for the fans. And same thing with Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury, you could say he's been doing all this traveling, all this traveling, opening up nutritional things, doing all these interviews, moving from here, going to all these events, and you didn't see no training from him. Then he's talking about coming up in there 300 pounds. Maybe he's doing the 300 pounds because he probably thought how much he weighed in the second fight worked. Maybe he's coming at 300 pounds because maybe he ain't been putting no work, and it makes no sense for him to lose all that weight to lose energy. You know what I'm saying? In the fight. So I don't know what it is, but all thing I can say is Wilder, if you think about it, I mean, when I look at it, you know, he has shown more strides than what Tyson Fury has shown that he is going to be the victor in the fight.
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, I probably could agree with you in that sense, like as far as like the camp shit.
No, you jive turkey, you will agree with me. I'm gonna take them shades.
But even with that stuff though, it's not like because Wilder has put out a bunch and like Fury has put out like a little bit or a moderate amount. You know, it's just that like leading up to it, like I mean, it would have been like, well, I'll put it like this: it would have been more encouraging for me to see like Wilder, like you know, putting out more media regarding like what he's doing in camp. You know what I'm saying? Like just to even show that he's there all the time, like you know that stuff. Because of at the end of the day, like it is the rumor mill, but whatever. You know. Just to like give that less validation, it would have been good to see like more of that activity of the camp life. Well, yeah, but again, Watcher and Tyrone, I've put the link on StreamYard. If you guys want to jump through, or anybody else who is interested in contending my points or Michael Johnson boxing talk more, you're more than welcome to jump on. Like, so long as you don't say anything crazy to get my channel nuked. But everything besides that, you know, you're more than welcome to say on this platform. And having said that, I'll want to introduce the last nominee to utilize that StreamYard link. And that's my man coming out of Australia. And that's the Watcher. Watcher, could you let the people know where we could find you? And thank you for coming through.
You can find me on TikTok. Nah, I'm kidding. You guys know, like I'm with Mike on that, you know, just watch a boxing, you know. Yeah, and that's it really. You know. I'm cool with that. Can you guys hear me okay?
Excellent. No, we hear you loud and clear, bro.
Okay, good.
I was just gonna compliment the fact that I can hear you like it sounds like a mic almost. But so what do you think as far as anything we've discussed this fine evening?
Oh, man, I like your discussion. I like your take on it, you know. I don't agree with it, obviously, as I've said, but it's good, you know. It makes for good conversation, you know. I can see, like, where you're coming from on certain things, like, you know, Wilder, you know, with some press conferences, you know, he's been out there. I mean, look at the first you know, the tour he did with Fury in London, in New York, freaking, there was pushing and shoving, you know, I'm going to knock you the F out. You know, that was funny when he started getting really angry in, I think it was LA. It was the week of the fight. So, you know, yeah, it was, for me, a little weird for him not to speak at first. But then, you know, I didn't mind it as it went on. And I know you disagreed with this before, but, you know, when he put his glasses back on, I liked the way he looked at him and just You know when like you put your tongue at the top of your mouth, like I don't know how to describe it, but he did some like facial expression. It was funny, and I was like, yeah, cool, man. So I felt good about it, I felt fine about it, and maybe that's the fanboy in me, but yeah, I felt good about it. Now, could it have been a bit more entertaining? Yeah,
Yeah, but and Wilder was a pivotal cog as to why it was far less entertaining. Because at the end of the day, I mean, like if we say that boxing is a business, I agree. That everything's about the bread, overselling like the whole like arguments and like going into shoving matches, like overselling the fact that you guys don't like each other. Especially if you legitimately don't like each other, which neither like they don't like each other. I mean, that would have driven ticket sales to the roof. Now, are they still going to be through the roof? Absolutely. This fight's going to do really well. But I think it would have done more for it. You know what I'm saying? Like it could be one more like pay-per-view sell and it's worth it. But I think it'll be a lot more than one. But go ahead, Mike.
And another thing is, this is what I'm trying to tell you is like, Tyson Fury, like, because to me, yeah, the stare down at a press conference, yeah, they're telling, whether or not somebody's scared or whatever, but you can like literally tell that nobody's scared of nobody, right? And this is not the stare down before the fight. This is not the stare down in the ring while the ref is giving instructions. You know what I'm saying? It's not that. This is Tyson Fury is going around saying, I won that. Talking about all this other stuff with Deontay Wilder. He looked unsettling. He looked like he was shaking, which the video was in HD. And there was no shaking. There was no quivering. There was nothing like that. All we saw was a guy talking and trying to get a reaction off of somebody. But that's what I'm trying to tell folks, man, is people just need to just look at this guy for what he is. And, Deontay Wilder not talking fucked him up. He's more worried about a reaction out of Deontay Wilder at a press conference than the damn fight. I mean, that's what it looks like to me.
You know what? I just thought, because you made a good point there. Like, I remember when Fury was going to fight Usmanov back in 2014, and the fight got cancelled because apparently Peter Fury got sick, and like that really messed up Tyson's mood, and he just decided to pull out of that fight. I don't think that was the only reason though, because there was a little bit more reported on it. But I remember Usmanov, the big Russian dude. That's Tyrone's favorite fighter, by the way, Usmanov. But yeah, he didn't talk much. He was, one of the silent cats, those European cats that didn't talk much. And Fury, like, fucking flipped the table at the press conference. He's like, I'm sick of this shit, blah, blah, blah. He's getting knocked out. Oh, no, actually, this was for the Chisora press conference. But regardless, like I've seen it before when guys don't talk much. He gets a bit, annoyed. Like, he didn't show it as major last month with Wilder. But, like, even at the weigh-in with Usmanov, like, he was fucking, like, doing the, the finger across the throat thing, like, you're dead, this and that, like raging, because sometimes when you don't give Fury that opportunity, especially if you do it less and less throughout the weeks and the months leading up, he gets angry. I've seen it before, so. But
that didn't deviate his result. At the end of the day, Fury's won every fight that he's with the exception of one draw that he's gone into the ring with. Maybe the press, like, maybe it doesn't really stress him out, like, as far as like the press conferences, regardless of what result he gets, whether he's like spazzing in somebody's face and they react to it or they're not reacting to it. At the end of the day, he's I'm not like real quick. Like at the end of the day, like he's always had those same results, and in every one of those press conferences, like Fury's been freestyling almost, just like either like freestyling and dissing, or doing the whole table flipping like stuff and spazzing. But at the end of the day, regardless of what kind of press conference he has, he's won. You know what I'm saying? Like so like it concerned me a lot more that Wilder like was not responsive and whatnot, like more than it did like Fury being pissed off because Wilder was not responsive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, see, but that's the thing. L Foul Player, we weren't talking about the results of the matches that Tyson Fury was having. We were talking about what we have seen that these guys have been doing leading up to the trilogy that made one of us feel that who was going to win the fight. You know what I'm saying? And we all, that's what we were talking about. That's why Watcher said what he said. And that's the reason why I said what I said, because we weren't talking about the end result of the fights that he was in. You know, we're talking about what kind of person that he seems to be, you know, in our opinions. And it seems that the more you engage with him, the more that he thrives. You know what I'm saying? Whether or not he wins the press conference or not. Because winning the press conference to me doesn't mean anything. Not everybody's a talker. You know, not everybody's a fast talker, a smooth talker, has the gift of gab. You know, and you know, sometimes people they because y'all know I still play sports, and it's still relevant to what happens in football. Some of the stuff is relevant to what happens in boxing. A lot of people, that's how they get off. That's how they create confidence within themselves. That's how they think that they can get people off of their square and doubt themselves is by talking shit. And you don't even really need it. You don't need to talk shit to nobody to tell the whole world that you're going to beat this guy. You don't need to, downgrade your opponent to tell the whole world that you mean business. But that's what some of these guys do. Because if that's the case, Tyson Fury said he could beat Wilder one hand tied behind his back and then do the same thing with AJ in the same night. Then I don't know and then come back and say that Wilder is a strong puncher and I'm not taking him for granted and stuff like that. You gotta watch the guy. You know what I'm saying? And that is what it is. I mean, I don't see how anybody. I don't see how you can. I mean, well, I can see because obviously you're not me, and we two different types of thinkers, or maybe four different types of thinkers right now because we got another person on here. But that's just my opinion on it. That's the reason why I still call it a 50-50 fight.
Yeah, and with me now, like my man Oliver, my homie from the king from out of Queens with the American dream. You know what I'm saying? Like, but thank you, thanks for coming through, Ali. Oliver, if you don't
Always
know,
a
like,
pleasure.
yeah, he's my man's from Queens. He's now based out of Las Vegas. He also dabbles in the sweet science as well. Let us know a little bit of your boxing endeavors of late, if you could, Oliver.
So of late, in the last couple months, I ain't really been in the gym, in all honesty. But yeah, I mean, I've been boxing since about 2010, and recently I've been training with Murky Sosa. One of the, I guess you could say, one of the best fighters to come out of Dominican Republic. Yeah, we're looking to get back in there and do some competitions.
And you fought on the Bronx Fight Club, if I remember correctly. At one point,
yeah, I did one of those fights. I don't really talk about that too much. I've heard that
don't worry, bro.
When it comes to competing officially.
Nah, I know, my bad, bro.
But
part itself. The
pardon.
Nah, but it's still like, I mean, like most people don't lace them up, man. Like, and it's good to do anything in the boxing game. You know what I'm saying? I give mad credit to boxing.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you, even with the amount of time I have in it, it's not easy, man. It's a daunting task. But you get it's a character builder for sure.
And there's nothing like it too. When you stop doing it, you feel guilty.
Straight up.
Yeah, it's a church. But now if you could, Matt, let us know what you think, Ali.
In terms of Fury and Wilder, the trilogy fight.
Yeah, anything you want to cook on? The floor is yours.
Yeah. So the gentleman that was just speaking, to some degree,
Oh, and
I
with us right now, we have my man Michael Johnson, who was last speaking from
what up?
California, and my
Cool.
boy Watcher. He's also in the building with us. But
Yeah.
go ahead and cook on whatever you want to.
So yeah, I agree heavily with what he was saying about the shit talking and getting your opponent out of their game, getting inside their head, and that's a large aspect of it. But when it comes to boxing, I mean, this can apply to all sports, but I think of Fury as far as in the realm of like this guy is a big time showman. He's a ticket seller, and if in the words of Customato, he's a guy with great character. So yeah, there's the trash talking part of it, but the guy has more character than Wilder, and that's why I think when they square up, he's the one that's going to win every time because he has more character. Even though both fighters have skill or they have power or this or that, Customato would say the one with the most character will usually prevail. And I
Yeah,
think that's the
and
case this time. You know.
let me give the floor to Watcher. You have anything to say about that?
I think it's a good point, but I just, I think as the fight gets closer, I'm just laying a bit more low, just waiting for it all to just.
Hey, Ali,
like
my bad. I'm sorry, Watcher. Ali, if you could hit mute on your mic, until you're ready to speak.
Yeah,
Like a
yeah,
little bit
yeah,
of
yeah.
background noise.
Got you. Yeah.
Thanks, bro.
Okay.
Go ahead, Watcher. Cook.
All good. Yeah, I think that's a good point, but just I'm very confident in Wilder, and look, I don't think it will be easy, for either guy, but it will be a fight of character because both guys, they have shown that they've got that will, inside the ring. And they've come back from some things for sure. I see Tyrone in the comment section, playing Rainbow Six Siege is more important than coming up on here talking with his, his group. But, let's see where the loyalty is.
Yeah, no love from the Thai man today, bro. Michael Johnson, you have anything to add as far as like the character of Wilder or versus Tyson Fury?
I mean, as first off, nice to meet you, my man's, and hope that your boxing endeavors, takes you far, man. That's a good thing to do. Staying active in sports in general. But I said what I said, and it's like that's what I have seen. Say again.
Appreciate that.
Oh, no problem. And that's what I have. That's what I have seen. I played. Started playing football in my, junior year in high school, and I never stopped since. Um, but and I'm 34 right now. But that's just what I have seen, with people, throughout the course of my tenure, and I also see it in the sport of boxing. I think with character, I don't think it's the person. I don't think it's necessarily the person with the most gifts of gab and all that stuff. I think characters is the type of the character the person who upholds. You know, as far as integrity, meaning what they say, and speaking in what they believe in. I think that's the character of being in the gym, getting up early. I think that's that type of character, not the gift of gab, because we have a lot of people out there that can talk circles around people. Look at Tony Harrison, can talk circles around people, but his heads end up going circles around the ring. Um, you know,
but Tony Harrison's a little bit of a beast, bro.
yeah, but he got whooped. You know,
Nah, he ain't get he lost. You know what I'm saying?
when the fight ends like that, you got whooped.
Nah, I smell
You know
you.
because
It's 1-1 right now. You know what I'm saying, between them two. But I get what you're saying though.
It's like you went to a decision on the scorecards. I mean, decision on the scorecards is not the ultimate way to win in boxing. The ultimate way to win in boxing from the days of the fisticuffs, bare knuckle fighting before they made mufflers, was to render your opponent unconscious. You know, and that's still relevant to this day. You know,
I mean, it's a bonus. It's a bonus, but
it's not a bonus. It's not a bonus. That's the ultimate way of winning. You don't got to worry about the judges. You don't got to worry about the boxing commission stepping in and stopping the fight. You don't got to worry about none of that.
The ultimate way of winning is that on that following Sunday, when you look at the print of your record, it adds one number on the left-hand side.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's not the ultimate way of winning, dude. That's just you winning, you know. And that's why you have judges. That's why you have judges and officials that make those decisions that we can't make.
Nah, I see what you're saying though. It is better to get a knockout in essence.
He threw it away.
But you know, winning's winning. You know what I'm saying? And while and Fury has from what we've seen in the ring, you know, multiple ways of winning. Like, it's another reason as to add to my convictions as to why I think that Fury in this third match ultimately will be the victor. You know, and again, if you're coming on here late, like, you know, this is coming from somebody who's about it for Wilder. You know, like, I think Wilder's the bee's knees as a character goes. Like, you know, good person. Like, you know, I root for the little guy, and at one point recently, he was the little guy. So I mean, like, anybody who goes from being the little guy into the upper echelons of the heavyweight division, I mean, hats off, Hall of Famer, you know. But Oliver, tell me, you have any thoughts on the matter?
Yeah. So, you know, as far as like rooting for the home team or rooting for the, you know, like, you know, I love this country probably more than I love myself. You know, I love America, bro. But in this case, like I said, I always thought Fury was a hell of a showman. I mean, just like how you were talking prior about the press conference against Chisora, he flipped the table. There's like highlight reels of him just trash talking, building up fights, and I thought they were entertaining as hell. First time I saw, I could watch those over and over again. They're crazy entertaining, you know. But yeah, you know, I like Wilder, but I don't really think that he's gonna do it. I think this guy's gonna get in his head. He's already in there. I personally, I think Fury is living rent free and breakdancing in Wilder's head. And on top of that, you know, there's a adage in boxing, you know, that a good bigger man can beat, you know, a great small man. And Wilder ain't no small man, but up in that heavyweight division, you know, he could have a solid 40, 50 pounds over Wilder on fight night. And, you know, I think, you know, the weight matters, you know, and I think that showed in the last fight. It's going to show again in this fight. He's going to do that to make him tired. You know, people are saying that there was something wrong with Wilder from the beginning, but I don't know. I personally don't see it that way. I think that from the start, Fury went to work and he did what he had to do, putting his weight on him, frustrating him, making him miss, um, and landing the jab. He landed some crazy stiff jab at the end of the first round. You know, clinch. He had this, kind of dirty boxing style that he's doing where he can work well in the clinch and really mess with you. He was sneaking this uppercut in while he's like got his forearm or his body on Wilder's neck, and he's doing some I mean you could call it dirty tactics, but he's good, very smart inside tactics, and he's making it work. And I think, he's gonna deliver some of the same stuff, maybe show you a couple different looks, but what worked should be used again, I would say. But
Yeah,
I
nah.
think
I mean,
yeah,
like anybody who knows how to use underhanded tactics, like Salido in years past, or um, Mayweather at times is very good at like using underhanded tactics. I appreciate that kind of boxing. Maidana was also really good at constantly trying to put some underhanded shit in the clinch and whatnot. But and Fury is very good at doing it too, particularly against Wilder. Like Wilder doesn't have an answer for
I mean,
Fury going down in the dirt. But Michael Johnson, if you could respond to that and
yeah,
take over the moderations duties for
yeah, I got
2
it.
minutes. I got to use the bathroom.
All right. Well, as far as I can see the fight, I saw Wilder wasn't right. I know I heard people like, Tyrone said, he had people that don't even watch boxing seeing something was off. The dude tried to, stretch his hips out from side to side and almost fell over. Well, looked like he didn't almost fall over, but he looked pretty uneasy. Um, but, as far as how the fight progressed and stuff like that, you could just, I mean, I'm not a boxer or anything like that, but there's boxers out there that would say the same thing as me. And so, just in case if anybody out there wanted to say, well, this and the third, who is you? But there's boxers out there, Hall of Fame boxer out there that believes the same thing as me. Um, but as far as what Wilder could do in his third fight and what Fury could do in his third fight is I don't think anybody it does make sense for you to say Fury should go in there and use the same thing and lean on him and all that stuff. Rake his face with the inside of the glove, use those forearms, choke him a bit here and there, lean on him, dirty boxing tactics or whatnot. But it might not work. It might not work. You got to always, fighting is fighting. And you always got to get better at something else. You know what I'm saying? You can't go into the fight, using the same tactics that you did in the last fight. I mean, you damn for sure don't want to waste a whole training camp just training to fight a guy the same way that you fought in the first fight. Because that's one thing that Floyd was good at. He was good at with learning a fighter in the ring and adapting while he was fighting in the ring against that fighter. Granted, not too many rematches or not at all. But I think in this fight, like I told folks, man, I think Wilder's going to win. If Wilder doesn't knock this guy, I think he's going to win on the scorecards. I mean, he has a jab. He just got to use it. And he just got to keep himself off center and elusive like the way Tyson Fury does with his jab. You got to you got to get off before this guy do and stay off center and watch out for those shots in the back of the head. He hits everybody in the back of the head. And I know Wilder does it too, but he hits everybody in the back of the head. Wilder does it too, but from time to time. But that's what I think he should do. I think he should utilize that jab and jab and jab him the hell up. He can. Because what Tyson Fury is going to do, he's going to try to throw a check left hook. He's going to try to throw an uppercut. He's going to try to throw the looping 1-2 like he like to throw. He's wide open more than what people give him granted. It's just that he's taller than everybody, So that's what makes it harder for people to recognize is that his height and his reach and his ability to get off them jabs. Like, because they think because his hand is sitting right there, his left hand is sitting right there in front of his jab hand, is sitting right there on his thighs, that he can't move that big ass arm, which he can. I'm not saying he's not. I'm not saying he's a Joe Joyce slow or Anthony Joshua stiff or anything like that. But he's a beatable guy. You know, we've seen it through the course of his boxing career that he's hittable. He's hittable. You know, granted, Otto Wallin couldn't put him out of there, but he's hittable. Yeah, I see you, L5 player. I see you.
My bad, bro. I was on mute. Yeah, it's just. I mean, like I know he's there to be hit, but it seems like just Wilder has a terrible time of doing it. Like even with his jabs, bro. Like how many like jabs like Wilder landed in all these the 2 fights that have happened thus far.
So I want to add something as far as jabs are concerned. Like Michael Johnson, I think your name is, but he said that Fury was staying off center, and that's one thing I feel like people don't mention is that he was jabbing and he'd have his head tucked to the right. He'd have his head off the center line while throwing that jab. He did that repeatedly in the fight. And I think Wilder's style is very basic. You know, he's looking right down the middle for the 1-2. You know, it's and that's something he wasn't really equipped to deal with.
You know, every time Tyson Fury has done that in his career, that's when he got caught. The way he moves backwards and touches his chin behind his shoulders. That's every time he has done that. Every time the big times that he has been hit is when doing that. If you look at his legs are close apart. That's when to jump on him. Right there.
Yeah, no, I mean it's easier said than done. I mean, like I know it's a catch-all kind of phrase, but it just seems like Wilder has a tough time doing these things, like letting it off, putting his offense out there. Like for somebody who, when they last fought, like was standing in front of him.
He didn't. But L5 player, now well he didn't have no doggone legs. Come on, man.
Nah, I know this,
bruh.
But what if he doesn't have no legs in this next fight?
But that's what I'm saying is like, how can you say that and then not recognize that the guy didn't have any legs, that he was loading up. You can see it coming from a mile away. Even if he was fighting against Stevie Wonder, he would have lost.
I mean, yeah, but what you've heard in the aftermath from the fight, it was like pretty much one sentence regarding his legs not being good during the fight or in the aftermath of the fight.
During the fight.
But him mentioning like since Wilder lost like that second fight, like he did mention his leg being fucked up, which it makes sense. But I mean, he's also never mentioned that again since that fight. But he's also
you mentioned it a few times, L5 player.
But he subscribed to the notion of the gloves or like his trainer being like backstabbing him, the ref.
But that's what I'm saying, L5 player. Who gives? That's not even what I was even hitting on. But if you want to talk about it, we can. That's not even what I was hitting on. When I was hitting on how you looked in the ring.
No, that's what I'm saying. But he like the fact that he doesn't. No, real quick. The fact that he doesn't mention like what's most obvious, like that his leg was fucked up.
He has a multiple occasion.
But he like to the point where I think that would be the biggest thing that affected him in that fight.
Because
He did mention it. He did mention it, but it wasn't like, you know, he did all this other stuff on top of it. Is what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
well,
Like,
well, see, that's what I keep saying is like take it from both sides. His leg is not something that wasn't caused by outside forces, according to him. See what I'm saying? His leg wasn't caused by outside forces. You know, like somebody throwing out a banana peel before he walks on it, and he steps on it and slip. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't the case. He's talking about all the, and I don't know what he has on it, but he kind of alluded to something that he's seen something. He's seen what Mark did on a picture or whatever. But I also seen when they was sitting in the ring, JD's had a different type of bottled water, and Mark Breland had a different type of bottled water. But that's what I'm saying is that as me looking at all that stuff, I look at it from, well, maybe it could be this, maybe it could be that. That's the reason why I didn't say anything about the water, say anything about egg weights, say anything about the suit or anything like that, because the only thing that can be proven by what I see, whether or not it's horsehair or not, the glove looked funny. We've seen plenty of horsehair gloves and matches, and that was the only one that I've seen like that. Now I also have seen people not use what the pictures the professional has, and actually use the pictures they actually photoshopped it so it looked different.
oh no, I'm
Seen,
not. But I'm not saying that there's no substance to the argument of Fury
but
cheated. Let's say for that.
there is no, but that's the thing. There is no substance to it until he comes out with it.
No, but like I think you kind of like had to like bring it up, like the fact that, like, you know, I saw something funky in the fight like a couple days later, like other people or whoever, whereas like I thought Wilder looked like shit like from round one from what I saw in the ring. You know what I'm saying? The leg thing and the fact that he's like has brought up all this other stuff instead of, like, you know, really bringing up this a lot, like as far as like the fact that he was injured and then maybe the fact that he was also cheated also. But who knows? Like, I mean, it's just very confusing.
I don't know.
I
gotta add something to this.
Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, so, you know, if it was the legs, you know, sure, there could be a number of reasons for that, but, you know, he had a number of excuses as to why. Now, as far as the glove, as far as the why he lost, and personally, I just think it was the better man that won that night. I don't think there's any validity to Mark Breland doing something to him. You know, like that would affect him getting any work moving forward if he was found to do something crazy like that. And then the glove thing, I mean, I don't think that holds really any weight. The glove did look a little floppy. You know, I've seen people do open hand techniques like a slapping kind of hook before, and I think that's really what it was. And really, the punches that landed that had substance. You know, the first knockdown was a right hand. The glove that, as far as I could tell, is in question from what I seen, what I heard online, is a left, and that really wasn't the one that first knocked him down. The one that got the lump on his head, that was from right hands. And
Yeah,
that's not the glove that's in question.
it was the right hand that was the gloves in the question, as well. You know what I'm saying? People were saying that the glove, his left hand glove, his hand wasn't all the way in it. See, this is what I'm saying is that, like I said before, it doesn't matter because, like, if you know, my eyes watching the fight, there was nothing that he could have done in the condition that he was in. There was absolutely nothing. And like I said, until Wilder, because I put it like this: nobody knows what he has. You know what I'm saying? At proof or whatever the case may be. But it doesn't matter until he comes out with it. Because if you as a fighter, you know, found out after the match that something was wrong with you, because nobody would think that somebody would try to come up in there with some weird gloves, try to spike somebody's water or something like that, blah blah blah, woo woo woo. coming into a match. Nobody would think about that with the boxing commissions and all that stuff. But some people actually check, you know. But that's what I'm saying is like until he comes up with the stuff like it really doesn't matter. You know?
Yeah, so as far as the egg weight thing, if that was in his right hand, I mean that sounds crazy to me because some of the arguments, like the egg weight one, what Fury would be susceptible to hurting his own hand doing something crazy like that. And then the same thing with positioning the hand low in the glove. There's not really a way for you to make contact with your knuckles. As far as I could tell, having your glove in the wrist section, I don't see how you're going to turn your knuckles inward in that wrist section of the glove to make clean contact. I would assume if you're going to do something like that, to have less padding, the part of your hand that's really going to be making contact is where your thumb is at, which is a finger that's easy to break. Like I feel like you'd be susceptible to some bad hand injuries with some of the claims that he's making. I just don't see how that could be the case. And then there's a couple other things. I mentioned earlier this, stiff jab he landed in the first round. If you see that jab, you see that it's landing with the fist part of the left hand, and his hand is clearly in the glove where it's supposed to be. You don't see the glove flop crazy, or in some sort of crazy way when he lands that punch. And then also later in the fight, when he lands the left hook to the left uppercut hook to the body and drops Wilder for the second knockdown. His hand is well in the glove. It's where it's supposed to be, and he lands clean on the body. And you don't see
Yeah,
the glove do any craziness.
yeah. I like that's what I was saying is like I really don't care about that. I really don't care about the allegations. I made plenty of videos saying the same thing I just said, and because to me he just didn't look right, and I'm gonna keep reiterating that, and other people believe the same way as I see it, even including Evander Holyfield. So, and even Evander Holyfield even talked about how he he may have been affected by spiked water in one of his interviews. So he didn't say what fight it was, but that's what he said, and it's even on my channel as well. But I really, unless you're going to come out here and sue this guy or present uh, some paperwork to these boxing commissions or these boxing organizations, you know, it's just word on the street, because don't nobody on YouTube or these sports analysis personalities or anything, including Deontay Wilder, has the power to make those decisions and suspend them or whatever, to strip them or whatever the case may be. You know, so that's the way I keep it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of mystery with this whole thing. And in a matter of days, no questions asked, this will all be settled in large part. Hopefully, we get a tremendous fight. Although I won't be buying it, I hope you guys get the best bang for your buck. To those of you that will buy it, no bias from me as far as me telling you what to do. But hopefully we get a great fight, man. I mean, I want Wilder to
Absolutely.
win, being 100% candid. But my heart says no. But Oliver, let the people know where we can find you, and thank you for coming through.
Well, you can find me at Oliver_Nunez_NYC on Instagram. I have Oliver Nunez on Twitter. I don't use them as much anymore, but I'm still on there.
All right.
Yeah, Michael Johnson. Again, if you could let the people know where we can find you.
You could find me right here on somebody's back porch drinking a Guinness But
All right,
yeah, man,
that's the place to be.
you know,
Yeah.
shoot, they know how to get down barbecuing damn near every day of the week. But yeah, man, if you was on somebody else's channel, woo, they would have been mad at you, boy. Ooh,
Yeah.
they would have been fuming at the mouth
Who, me?
Yeah.
all over their screens.
Who, me or Oliver?
Down to my Oliver, boy, they would have been.
Oh yeah, yeah. If I was like on some Wilder
Woo!
loyalist, uh,
Oh man,
streaming, oh man, burn this man! Like,
yeah, cook him. Yeah, I would have been like, God damn, let that man have his opinion. Fuck, like, and I don't mind it because if everybody was thinking the same way, man, like, what kind of world will we be fucking living in? You know what I'm saying? And like, I can honestly see people saying like they don't see nothing wrong with the gloves. You know what I'm saying? And how absurd it seems like somebody would put a fucking egg weight in their glove and bop somebody in the head
it's
with it in
madness.
a boxing ring. But that's like I said, is like in 2021 or 2020, is like you just never know what people would do, but it do sound far fetched, But until he comes out with something like it is what it is.
Yeah, word up.
I think
And
it's crazy
again,
that people would believe that. I mean, yo, it's nuts. You don't see it on the punching end. The guy doing the punching, like, yo, I could really mess up my hand doing something crazy like that. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
I
you could
mean,
do
maybe
damage.
it's because I've had my hands in the gloves before. Some of these people might not have ever done that, but that might be part of it.
You can do damage with the palm of your hand to somebody's soft tissue and stuff like that. Hell, Bass Rutten used to knock people out with the palm of his hand. But you know, doing it over and over again in front of a ref and the boxing commission, and they don't even give a fuck about it. It's like one of those things, man. You just never know what somebody will do, but you gotta, man, you gotta, after this fight, man. I don't, I just try to keep, people because people be on my ass about it. But after this fight, win or lose, man, if that's really what you believe and stuff like that, man, you gotta come out here and fry this dude with this evidence and proof, man, because a lot of people, have written the allegations off, like egg weight. I really don't believe that one, but somebody cheating with their gloves and maybe some spiked water. That's that's a hard one to do, but it is what it is, man. But I don't know.
and again, it's gonna be settled in a couple of days. Like, I mean, like, win or lose, like, hopefully they're a lot more vigilant of anything that Wilder suspected happened in the last fight. But it's all on the table now. No excuses from either fighter, and hopefully the best man wins, and we get unification shortly thereafter. But Watcher, if you're still on, man, let me know if you're still in the building.
Yeah,
And,
I'm still here. Yeah.
And if you could also, man, let the people know where we can find you, and thank you for coming through.
Just watch a boxing, man. I should pop up. It don't matter though.
Word up. Nothing matters. Nah, man, but with that, I'd like to thank you guys for stepping into the Foul Play Land with your boy.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah, and either stream the fight or watch or pay for it, but keep boxing alive, man. Peace, guys.
Got it.
Peace.
Peace.